Right. Good evening. And if you're watching in the UK, you can probably be like me, struggling to breathe, very hot, and wishing you were outside somewhere rather than in an office like this. So yeah, no, it's very hot today. Well, it's actually like really muggy, actually. I think, and I think from everybody I've spoken to today, it's affecting us all in different ways. And please, hopefully, the weather's going to break. It can be hard to breathe when you're working indoors all day. So, but this is one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight in terms of how we trust the process when things don't happen the way we expect them to. You know, how do we stay on track when things go wrong? And how do we stay focused on our ultimate goals, our visions, and keep moving towards those even when things aren't happening the way we want them to in terms of our circumstances and everything that's going on around us. So before I do that, I just want to also clarify that I am still available for one-to-one coaching as well as group coaching. I'm actually bringing out a new program soon, so keep your eyes out for that. It's going to be a 4-week program, and it's going to be an online group coaching program, which is going to be reasonable and affordable to people. And I'm going to release more details about that in the coming weeks. So keep your eyes out for that if you're looking to have a taster of what I do as a coach before perhaps investing in, you know, one-to-one coaching and moving forward in that area. So keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in finding out more, let me know and I will give you more details. So I work with people who want to create a much more effective way of getting what you really want from your life, you see. So people who want to build their self-esteem, their confidence, replace fears and limiting beliefs with motivation and clarity, create clear plans of action which help us create balance in all areas of our lives, emotionally, mentally, physically, socially, environmentally, spiritually. All of these areas affect how we show up at any given moment. So creating balance in all of these areas is important if you really want to be showing up at the way you really want to be showing up. So people who really want to be doing the work needed to create a successful, you know, lifestyle for themselves. So if you're interested in finding out more about how I can help you on a one-to-one basis, please do get in touch. The details are in my website, which is going to be posted at the bottom of this video. Okay, so tonight I'm talking about how we can stay calm and trust the process. Okay, so when life seems anything but balanced and fair, it is easy for us to become either frustrated, confused, victimized, these sort of things. You know, so the wheels come off in life. We can't determine when things are going to happen or go against us, or the plan that we're planning to execute goes awry and we have to change something. So it can be difficult when we're going through difficult circumstances, such as we are now with the cost of living crisis and all the other stuff that goes with that, to stay on track to achieve our goals. And so it's important to approach things in a way which keeps you performing at your best. Things happen which we don't expect, and that can throw us off course, both mentally and emotionally. And that leaves us feeling lost. We don't know which direction to turn in. We're not really sure about where we're going anymore. And we lose sight of the ultimate vision or desires or goals that we're working towards. So when we create any kind of expectation of a certain type of outcome or set of results, we inadvertently create or set ourselves up for disappointment, because we're creating some sort of distant ideal image in our mind, which if we don't achieve it creates disappointment. So really, do things ever happen the way we want them to happen in life? Life has a habit of just getting in the way of our plans. You know, if we could say, right, this is where I want to be and this is what I need to do to get there, wouldn't that be great? But unfortunately, things don't happen that way. Things happen which we don't plan for, and we have to be aware of that. So, you know, how can we actually stay focused on performing at our best, being at our most productive, despite the circumstances around us not aligning themselves with our ultimate vision of where we want to be in life? Trusting the process means letting go of all the attachments to any particular outcome or set of results, and simply accepting that all of the experience that we go through have value, especially the most challenging and difficult ones, as I can testify to. having been through a set of unbelievably challenging and testing circumstances. But they're the ones in my life which have given me the most value. That's the truth. So remaining flexible to change and is important in order to, adapt mentally and emotionally and shift our circumstances, shift the way we move forward, so that we're always staying on track in terms of how we want to be showing up, performing in life. Despite what goes on around us, things will happen, but we can still remain at our best with the right mental approach. So how do we remain flexible and adaptable when things go wrong and affect us emotionally, such as losing family members or something equally as traumatic and difficult to deal with? It can be very hard when things go wrong, especially if it's something as drastic as that. But how do we stay on track to do and keep moving in the right direction despite things going wrong, which we hadn't planned for? So there are 4 key things we can all do in order to stay highly energized, focused, and at our very best when things go wrong. Right, firstly, become much more consciously aware of your thinking at any given moment. Practicing awareness is not something that comes easy to us. We might tell ourselves that we're aware of our thinking, but 90% of the time we're not. And we don't actually know where our thoughts are generated from because we're not conscious of them. So a lot of the time the thoughts that we're having are perspectives that are built or born out of fears, worries, limiting beliefs, assumptions, interpretations that aren't showing us the full picture. They're showing us a snippet of what might be going on, not necessarily is going on, but might be going on. And then we choose to believe those. And that lowers our energy. We feel lesser than what we would normally, and we don't perform at our best. So it's important to become aware of these things and how they affect us and how they influence us and create our actions moving forward, whether they're counterproductive actions or, in a much more preferable way, productive actions. So being aware allows us to see reality by determining the facts and your reactions to the facts. So analysing your thinking so that you're able to recognise what you're actually telling yourself about any given situation. Secondly, acceptance allows you to remain present and objective by accepting those facts and understanding and accepting your reaction to them. So you're analysing these facts, you're seeing them from what they really are in an objective, non-judgmental way, and you're taking away any sort of emotional attachment to that situation by seeing it with clarity and accepting it as it is. So it doesn't matter what the circumstances are, by accepting that, and it is what it is. You can't change it. You got to work with it and adapt to it. And that's the way that's the second thing we can do in order to stay on track to where we really want to be going in life. Thirdly, and this comes directly after practicing awareness and acceptance, is making conscious choices. By making a conscious choice, you're allowing yourself to evaluate and discern the facts, not judge them, and to come up with a plan to reach your transition related performance and goals, choosing consciously to adapt to each change in the moment. Again, things are always changing. They're always going to be changing. You cannot control that, but what you can do is adapt to it and be flexible around change. And if you can do that, then you will learn from each experience and you will grow from each experience and you will move forward with each experience. So these first 3 disciplines set the stage for the 4th one. The 4th discipline, trusting the process. Having full faith in yourself and your plan, whilst knowing that no matter what happens along the way, you and your plan are a work in progress that will change with time. So you're always moving every part of that plan is going to be moving in one direction or another, and you're adaptable to that and flexible to that, and you're judging that, well, not even judging, you're looking at that from a perspective which is completely objective, and not judging that. So it gives you the opportunity to make much more conscious choices, which are much more in line with where you want to be, rather than only seeing it through the prism of, say, fear, limiting beliefs, assumptions, interpretations, which keep us stood still. So when something goes wrong, we just stand still. We don't move forward, and we lose track of where we're going and where we want to be going. So, so constantly evaluating, learning, revisiting keeps you growing. It keeps you improving. We're always a work in progress, and that will never change. We're always learning, we're always growing. We're never the finished article. We're never going to be the finished product. We're never going to be perfect. We're always learning. We're always a work in progress. So constantly evaluating and learning helps us keep moving forward, keeps growing, and keep improving in all areas of our lives. So, after all, there are no such thing as problems in life. There are only ever opportunities. And awareness gives you the opportunity to actually see the opportunities rather than just the problems. Okay? So I hope that's been a benefit to some people, because I know it's a challenging time and a lot of people are going through difficult times. So it's difficult to stay on track if you're trying to achieve some sort of plan or working towards a vision or desire of yours. It can be difficult, and again, I work with people to help you do that. So if you're interested in finding out again more about my work and how I specifically help you, there's different ways to do it. I can do it in group coaching. I also do one-to-one coaching, and like I said, I've got a 5-month program which specifically helps you create the mindset that works for you consistently. So please get in touch with me if you're interested in finding out more details about that. And in the meantime, I'm going to love you and leave you and go outside to cool down a bit. So have a great evening, and I hope that's helped some people. And I'll see you all next time. See you soon. Bye. Oh, God. Can't turn the computer off now. There you go.